So I was trying to think of a topic to come up with for today's video, and it's April 6th, 2020, and we're right in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. And, there's a lot going on, and I'm trying to think, should I even make a video this week? Is it, do people even want to hear about photography stuff? Maybe you do as a distraction. Maybe you're watching the news like we've been. And I'm also in New York, where we've been hit really hard here. Friends, family members have been sick, and, it's been a little crazy. So I decided I'm gonna make a video on a topic that I've been thinking about for a long time, and it's has nothing to do with actual photography, the nuts and bolts of it, but it's about making money with your photography. And I think it's something that many photographers, when they get started, dream about doing, and then they crash into the hard reality of actually trying to make money. I'm gonna use myself as an example and kind of give you guys the path that I've been on over the last 10 years. I started out with a entry-level DSLR, just taking family pictures and things like that. And then I met Eric through our daughters, who went to school together, and he was looking to sell his full-frame camera, and I bought it from him. It was the Canon 5D Mark II. And, with his help, I really got seriously into photography and started photographing just anything I could put in front of my lens: people, places, landscapes, vacations, whatever it was. And, you get better. The more you do something, you get better at it. So I found myself going to Walt Disney World a lot. And, he would travel there also with his family. And we had this collection of vacation pictures, but not just vacation pictures. We would, take pictures of the architecture there and fireworks and all sorts of different things. And shooting in that environment actually sped up my progress as a photographer. And I, started submitting pictures online to different things, different Facebook pages and groups and things like that. And before you know it, you get contacted by people. The first thing I did was I did an app with my friend Peter, who lives in, England, of all places. And you meet people online from all over the world, which is great. And we put out a photography app about Walt Disney World. And then after that, Eric and I both started to shoot for the Walt Disney World magazine, the online version. And, none of these things are like life-changing money. It's a couple extra bucks in your pocket each month. But it's fun to be appreciated for your work. So then we decided we were going to try shooting some portraits, locally. And that's where charging for your work and finding value in what you're doing is tough. Because I think as creative people, it's very hard to charge. Like, making the images is the fun part, but when you actually have to charge someone for that, how do you value that? And, if you're, most photographers, I would say, unless you're very young, but if you're starting in your late 20s, 30s, 40s, you probably have a career already. I own a business. Eric is a CPA, and he is a partner in an accounting firm. And we both had established businesses, and, it wasn't our primary source of income, so it was mostly for fun. But when you have the opportunity to make some extra money, it's very hard to put a price tag on what you're doing. And that's where I think people run into trouble. I almost think it's easier if you set out to become a photographer and you go all in, rather than trying to make it like a side business, which can be very successful. I mean, I'm not saying this is true for everyone, and sometimes it takes a little while. When you go all in on something and that's the only way you're going to be making your money, that need to make money sometimes pushes you to do things you would normally do if you didn't need that money. So in my own business, I have a landscaping contracting business, and I give prices to customers all day, and they could be in the thousands of dollars or, hundreds of dollars. And I have no problem doing that. It's a business I've been doing for 35 years. I'm very comfortable in it. And it's not my talent that I'm valuating. It's a service. They want work done, and we provide a service, and there's set rates, and it's pretty easy. But when you're putting value on an art form, it's hard to try to figure out what that's worth. And I think that's where we run into some trouble as photographers in general. So after the magazine, Eric and I were approached by an author to do our Walt Disney World photography book, which was called Capturing the Magic. And she had this idea of doing a coffee table book. So the three of us got together and we went about creating this, and that was really awesome. And, but there's that fear that what if nobody buys this? What if it doesn't come out right? What if, people don't like it? But we were pretty confident we had a nice product on our hands. And and we put it out there, and this was a success for us. And this was the first time we actually made some money with our photography, some real money. That was really eye-opening. We created this product, and then we were done. We put it out into the world, and it was up to you, the people out in the world, if you liked it or not. Thankfully, it really sold very well. We sold thousands of copies of this book, and it was really a great thing for us. So, we did 2 Walt Disney World books, and so that was a way to make money, with photography. If you have something that people are interested in, and that's really a key also, is finding something that there's a market for, because our Disneyland book did not have the same market as our Disney World book. They both sold really well, but the Walt Disney World book sold much better. And, that's a learning curve. And, if you pick the wrong subject at first, maybe you have a bad experience and then you kind of give up. So I think photography is just plugging away and kind of niching down into one thing that you are interested in. So whether it could be portraits, maybe you want to do headshots, maybe you're a landscape photographer, or maybe you want to teach. And that's one of the things that a lot of photographers end up going into, because you can actually make money teaching. You could start a YouTube channel like we're doing. Locally, you could do classes, you could run seminars. There's plenty of photographers that run workshops. They'll have people come out for 2-3 days at a time, and they'll take them into some beautiful location, show them how to shoot, show them how to edit. And, you can make a good living doing this kind of thing. But that's a job. I mean, you have to be a photographer and kind of go all in on those things. But as a little side business, this has been good for us. It's been fun. But I do think it is hard to put a value on your own work. And we've done that over the years, and we found it interesting. The portrait business was very interesting because, we set out to shoot a certain way, and, we wanted to make a certain amount of money. And we came across a lot of other photographers who were doing the same thing we were at a fraction of what we thought was a real price that, is like a sustainable business. And again, I think, as photographers, we drive the price of photography down on ourselves because we're afraid to put a real value on that. And you see these ads in places where a photographer might be doing a portrait session for $50, and $50 to go somewhere, take a picture of whatever it is, a family or kids, then come back, edit it. I don't know if you're going to provide product or not, or if you're going to just give them files, whatever it is, but it's time consuming, and for that little bit amount of money, it's really not worth it. And a lot of photographers find that out very quickly. You have to put a real value on your images, and you got to get really good. And I think that's the differentiator for some businesses over others. If you want to be a photographer, you want to be a wedding photographer, you should practice being a wedding photographer. You should shoot weddings. You should be a second shooter for a while. Get used to it. Get really good at editing. Just learn everything you can about photography and the situations you're going to be in. I think once you have a skill set that is at a certain level, it becomes easier to charge for your work. And now if I have to charge somebody for my photography, I'll tell them a price that I'm comfortable with. And if they want to, fine. If not, then I'm not going to do it. And that is something that takes a long time to get to that spot where you want to do that. So I'm curious, after you watch a video like this and you think about yourself, do you want to make money with your photography, or do you want to keep it a hobby? Do you want to keep it something fun where you just shoot? But I think we all love the idea of maybe paying for our own gear, or maybe shooting some parties on the side to maybe go on a vacation, or, just being paid for your work validates it. And, you feel like, all right, you know what, I'm getting better at this. And so when somebody actually wants to pay you for what you're doing, it makes you feel good, especially with something like photography, where there's that uncertainty. You don't know how good you are. You're looking for confirmation of your skills. You want somebody to tell you, wow, you're doing a great job. I was just thinking about this. That's why, over the years, Eric and I have had the luxury of trying little different businesses and seeing what works, what doesn't. Maybe if something is a little more work than we want, we can back off on it, because we both have, businesses that pay the bills. So this is a fun thing that we have on the side. We did our little case business that we have going in the background, which has been going great. And, it's nice to have these little side projects and things. Maybe you get a couple extra bucks, I'll buy a couple of lenses, or maybe I'll go somewhere with the money, or whatever it is. But it's nice to, to have that. So I think if you really want to make money as a photographer and you want it to be a career, you have to go all in, and you have to get good, and you have to pick a specific genre of photography you want to go into, and don't give up. You got to go hard, and you just have to be relentless, and you have to follow photographers who are in that same genre, and just, try to emulate them at first, and then try to create your own style. And you also have to learn how to be a business person and not be afraid to charge for your work. You have to know what it costs you to run a business. What is it going to cost you for gear? Is it travel time to get where you want to go? Are you selling products? What are those going to cost? What are they worth? So these are the things that you have to find out, and you have to confidently be able to sell yourself. You have to say to someone, yeah, I can do that, no problem. And for me, that's always been the hard thing. In my other business, I'm confident in that, and I know what I can do. But in the photography thing, it took me a long time to get there. I know plenty of photographers that are amazing. And, it's just a fun side hobby for them. Other ones make some money on the side. They shoot parties, and other people, blog with their photography, and they make money that way on the side. So there's a lot of different ways to use photography. And here's another way that if you are into a specific thing, maybe you're into, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever you might be interested in. For us, it was Disney. And, maybe you get contacted by somebody. Maybe there's a company that likes what you're shooting in your genre, and they might want to work with you in some way. So that's another way that you can get involved in it. So share your stuff, put it out there, put it online. Tag companies that you want to work with. Don't be afraid to put your stuff out there. You might get some criticism, but for the most part, photographers are pretty good. They're very complimentary. We love talking about each other's work. And, we all have that little insecurity built in. So for the most part, you're going to get a lot of good feedback from photographers. And there's a lot of Facebook groups and things like that. And there's also Facebook groups for actually making money, the business of photography. You should look into those if you really want to turn this into a career. All right, that's just my 2 cents on this. I was thinking about it. This is a strange time we're in. Hopefully, wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe, your family's safe, and hopefully we can get back to normal in a couple of months. But I don't know, there was nothing to go out and shoot, and I haven't gotten any new gear, and it's just a weird time right now. Remember, leave a comment. I'm interested to hear what you say, and stay safe and healthy out there, and I'll see you in the next one.